Broodmother is insanely strong right now. In Divine Plus level pubs, she has a 61% win rate, and in 6k plus pubs, she actually is the highest winning hero with 63% win rate. What makes this hero so good? Here we're going to take a look at a game of Qojqva and see how you can just completely destroy the early game despite laning against a counter like Tiny. So we can see Tiny being run down, just killing these two heroes 1 versus 2. How do you actually farm so efficiently that you can do things like that? Come follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/JonGunnarsson. I stream every Monday and Friday at 7 PM CEST, so come and get your replays analyzed live on stream. Welcome to the Church of Obelisk. My name is Jon. The key to winning as Broodmother is to buy 2 Quelling Blades at the start. This way you can drop 1 Quelling Blade, pick it up with your courier, sell it, and get 65 gold back. This is high level Brood play. Now, I mean, obviously that double Quelling Blade, just a mistake. I'm not sure what he was thinking there. I probably got confused because of the pause at the start. But at the start, you obviously want to buy maybe a mango and 2 branches, or 2 mangoes instead of that second Quelling Blade. Help you sustain for the first couple of those before you get your soul ring. And the start, you just try to get as many last hits as possible, but you are obviously a big disadvantage, especially against a hero like Tiny. So one of the big reasons why Broodmother is so strong is just in terms of drafting. Sometimes you get those free win games where they just don't have any hero that can stand up against Broodmother. In other games, like here, it's not a free Broodmother game, but because of just the match-up warping power of Broodmother, there's just certain heroes that can't lane against you. In this case, the last picked Brood and the enemy team last picked Archwarden, and you just can't lane with Archwarden against Brood. That's just not a lane you can do. So they had to switch around. They swapped between Tiny and Archwarden. Now Archwarden is playing this awkward position 4 role, which doesn't really fit the hero too well. So they have this Tiny in the mid lane, who's like a decent counter against Broodmother, but as we're going to see, even though Tiny on paper counters Broodmother, you can play around that and he's still going to easily win this lane. Now we just saw him playing very aggressively with his spiders. And the reason he could do that was that Recrab was in cooldown, especially at the start. Actually has a pretty long cooldown, 25 seconds level 1. So when he has tree grab, your spiders can't be in the lane. But when tree grab is in cooldown, you can go and harass the Tiny. But now that he has tree grab available, you can just farm this medium camp and still farm really fast. So this tree can be tossed, it just does so much damage and it's going to kill at least all your spider rights. Your spiderlings, the start, are going to survive this. The runes are coming up and now you're just going to send a spider to each rune, and this way you can deny the runes. This is an arcane rune, you could also grab this, but the problem is that outside of your webs, Broodmother is really slow. He has an abysmal base movement speed of 275, slow as the Wolves of Icerack. So you don't really want to go for these runes, just deny them. As long as the Tiny doesn't get them, that's fine. You just want to spend your time farming the lane when tree grab is not available, so now it goes to grab a tree and now spiders go back. This is how you're going to play this lane. And it's also really helpful if you have a separate control group for spider rights and spiderlings. So the game is going to remember that, and you can have 2 separate control groups, and then when you toss the tree from long distance, you can just separate those 2 groups, and then at least you're only going to kill half your spiders. And you can just go and farm these tunnel caps. This is very fast. And also you can stack here for some extra efficiency. So while the lane is back here and Tiny has a tree, you actually saw Tiny just tossing the tree here on the off chance that some spiders were there. Kind of funny because he just wants to get this cooldown back. He wants to have this cooldown available, and when he doesn't have that available, Tiny is really vulnerable, and that's what he's playing around here. That's what Qojqva is doing. And he's also really doing a good job of dodging those centaurs. You can definitely dodge those stomps. You can just move in with the spiders and then immediately move back. He's gonna stomp, and you're not gonna be slowed down with your farming speed. But that I think 3-second disable on spiders. So he's just pushing out the wave when Tiny doesn't have tree grab or when it's under this tower. But otherwise, he's just farming the strong camps, and here he's just doing both at the same time. He's farming this easy camp here and then still being in the lane here to get the lane experience and maybe some of the last hits. So don't block that camp, send spiders to deny runes, denies the region rune, no runes for Tiny, and Tiny wants to go for a bottle here, but he's not going to get any runes here. The first item you go for obviously is Soul Ring. You just need that mana region. And the changes to Soul Ring are actually quite good for Broodmother. Gives you now 2 armor instead of the HP region. And you already have plenty of HP region as Broodmother just with your webs. Level 4 webs give you 9 HP region. And you also get a bunch of sustain with your insatiable hunger. You don't really need to worry about HP region. So this is a very strong item, even stronger now. And the thing is, he's not just winning his own lane. He's also indirectly through the drafting power of Broodmother helping win this safe lane, because now the support player is forced to play this Arc Warden, which he's probably not really experienced with. So this also helps the Troll Warlord win his lane, and Arc Warden wanders forward here, gets a career kill, but Broodmother claims the kill. So Arc Warden is the hero that's really easy to kill as Broodmother. This is a support Arc Warden, but even core Arc Warden is very easy to kill this Brood. And just important to be alert to what's happening on the map, even when you're jungling. There's an Arc Warden here right next to you, you can just kill him. And most support is really easy to kill as Broodmother. So Tiny is going to wander in here, going to try to find the clump of spiders, but not having any success so far. And here I finally got a rune here, while Broodmother was busy at top. So good job for him, but still Broodmother is out farming him. And it doesn't really matter that he sees the dodging here on the centaur. It doesn't really matter that Tiny supposedly counters Broodmother. You can just avoid his trees. You see, tree grab is in cooldown right now, and now he picks up a tree. Actually has to use a branch to toss the tree, but it's not even enough to kill the real spiderlings. Again, Tiny with the tree, so Broodmother retreats with the spiderlings and just goes and farms those ancient camps. These golems are really easy to farm. Also going to try to do stacks here, but it's a bit difficult to stack here. Only gets 1 stack, but that's the most important one, obviously the ancient stack. Second item he goes for is the Diffusal Blade, which is a really strong Broodmother item, gives you a good amount of right-click damage, and most importantly that's slower, that allows you to actually catch people. So now it's 10 minutes, he has that diffu, and you can just go for that Arc Warden. Like, there's nothing they can do. Tiny doesn't have his tree, and he actually has, unfortunately, the Iron Branch in his backpack, so he can't actually grab that. He tries to go for a tree here, but doesn't get it. So just being run down by those spiders, and that's just the power of Broodmother. If you get this fast timing on diffu, you can just kill people so easily with all your spiders. It's also an item that scales well until the late game, gives you a decent amount of right-click damage later on as well, and just really fitting item for Broodmother. Also helps with the mana a bit. And after that, it's going to go for treads. A lot of people skip boots on Broodmother, and that's correct at the start, because mostly it's just about your spiderlings, so your movement speed on your main hero is not really that important. But later on, it's going to be quite important to actually have extra movement speed on those boots, and this movement speed gets amplified so much by your webs. Like, it's 45 movement speed, yes, but it's going to be amplified by 65% and later on 90% the scepter. So boots really important on Broodmother. You don't want to rush them, but you want to get them probably after your diffu blade, and they just help you a lot in terms of DPS with your power treads. Also, it's great to go with the Soul Ring. You can switch to Strength treads, cast your Soul Ring, then switch to Int, and then cast your spells. This is really efficient on both your mana and HP pool. So basically get double value out of thread switching with Soul Ring. And he just keeps farming. And look at this setup from his webs. He has a web here, a web here, a web here, one here, one here, one here. This allows him to farm everything here. And later on he's going to have more aggressive webs, but at the start you want to have your webs. You can farm like this part of the map. This is your part of the map. This is what you want to farm. And you want to have this web of webs here, I guess. And this allows you to farm all the jungle camps and still farm out the wind lane. And Winter Wyvern here uses everything, uses ultimate, but still he's gonna be caught here. And Broodmother's just dominating this game. This Troll Warlord being able to lane against this Arc Warden also is having a really easy game. And this is just the power of Broodmother. You can just have these really explosive early games and just farm everything. And if you have Tiny actually catching the spiders, he just throws the tree, but separates the two heads of spiders and only kills the spiderlings. So that is quite good. Not giving him quite as much golden experience. And sometimes you're going to get lucky and he's actually going to hit a spider right and he only kills those less important spider rights that only give 3 a pop. And now you just keep farming. In terms of item builds, you don't always have to go for Diffu. There's also other options. You can go for Deso, for example, a bit more traditional Broodmother build, but that's sort of lacking the slow. Gives you more damage, but the slow is actually really important. You can also go for an Orchid, but in most games, Diffu is probably the best item to go for. And then afterwards, you want your Aghanims. Aghanims gives you so many more webs. You go up from 8 webs to 18 webs. This means that you can just cover so much more area, and at the start these 8 webs are enough to farm everything you need to farm, but then when you actually, like when you've farmed some items and you actually want to play aggressive, it's really important to get extra webs and also get extra movement speed. So Aghanim is such a really important item. You don't want to go for it right away, but you don't want it as a first item because then you don't do enough damage. But after Diffu is like a perfect time to get Aghanims. And Winter Wyvern also gets killed here. This Broodmother is just dominating this game, as text says here. And from here on out, it's gonna be a pretty easy game. You know, not always gonna have such an easy early game, but I mean, this was not like an easy Brood game. He was playing against Tiny, and still he was able to just outfarm everyone. And with this huge lead, 10k lead at 60 minutes, it's not going to be a very hard game. Of course, the game is not always going to go quite as well in the start, so if you want to see more Broodmother content, tell me so in the comment section. I'm going to look at some games where the early game doesn't go quite as well. And as I said before, check out my stream at twitch.tv/JonGunnarsson. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and recommend it to your friends to help spread the word of Obelisk. And if you really like my content, consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/JonGunnarsson. And as always, I'll leave you with 2 videos to watch next, and Obelisk Building, I'll see you there.